Guys, you know the budget's out. There's been some changes on negative gearing and capital gains tax in this episode. Let's go through how it impacts existing property investors. Should you guys stop investing now, or should you carry on? And how it impacts those of you who haven't yet started your property investing journey. Have you missed the boat? Is property investing dead? You know, the good times are done, or is it still possible right now? The answers, according to legislation and structure, they may be different from what you're hearing in the media. I'm just going to give you the essence, what you really need to know. And I have lost my voice from the weekend from an unrelated matter. So I'll try to make it brief to the point. So number one, negative gearing. Investors now, from this point onwards, who buy established properties, you know, they can no longer use negative gearing from July 2027 onwards. So for the next year, till July 2027, you can negatively gear, but of course 1 year is not that much in the context of things. So this is different from before, where if you made a loss on a property, you could negatively gear it and you get some of that loss back. But here's the thing. Negative gearing has not gone away, it's just changed. So before, if you made a loss, you could offset it against your taxable income and reduce your taxable income. Now you can't reduce your taxable income, but you can carry forward that loss. Let's say, you know, the properties that my clients typically buying like right now, they're costing, let's say, about $5,000 a year to hold. You know, let's just say that on average. Now, of course, that $5,000 kind of sucks, right? But they're not doing it for negative gearing purposes. After 2 or 3 years, as rents rise, they typically become positively geared, or they start paying for themselves. And so in this new regime, that $5,000 that you lose in the first 2 or 3 years, it gets trapped. Okay, you can't offset it against your personal income. But then when you start making positive cash flow after year 3, year 4, and into perpetuity, all of that positive income, the tax that you would have paid, is offset by the first 2 or 3 years of losses. So it's not that negative gearing has gone away, it's just the timing has changed. It's more of a short-term hit, but a long-term benefit. And this is true if you buy into your personal names. And of course, in trusts and in companies, you could do this anyway, even before the regime changed. So don't think negative gearing has disappeared, the tax advantages have disappeared. They've just changed, the timing has changed, but the net result over the long term, over that 5 to 10 year period, is exactly the same. The media is not telling you this, okay? This should give you some excitement that it's still possible to benefit from those losses. Now, I'm not saying buy blue chip property in Sydney or Melbourne that costs you $1 million, $2 million, that's going to be negative cash flow for the next 10, 20 years. I'm not saying that at all. But for my strategy, now it becomes even more important to buy high growth, high yield properties. Okay, and I see that the affordable end of the market, it's going to boom at even more, you know, diversified regional areas, cheaper parts of capital cities, townhouses in some areas. This is the high yielding area, not without growth. This is where the energy, the demand will go. So I'm sorry about my voice, I'm trying my best here. Okay, now let's talk about capital gains tax. So before, you know, if you were to buy a house or existing property, you would benefit from a capital gains tax discount. The 50% CGT discount is now replaced by CPI indexation, which means any gains you achieve over and above the rate of inflation over the years that you held it, that's what you have to pay capital gains tax on. The minimum, regardless of what the outcome of that is. You know, that in some cases, this new regime of capital gains tax means that if you bought like not such a great property, you'd probably be paying less tax, CGT tax, than the 50% discount regime. But if you bought a super good property and it exceeded the rate of inflation by a lot, then yes, you'd be paying more capital gains tax than the 50% CGT discount method. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. In your personal name, let's say you bought a property for 500K, sold it at $1 million. Of course, there's other things like stamp duty that you have to go into the calculation of capital gains tax. But under the old method, that $500,000 gain, half of it, because you get a CGT discount, only half of it would be taxed. And assume you're at the highest marginal tax rate. Okay, so 250, half of 500 gains, 250 times 47%, that's the highest marginal tax rate, you'd be paying tax of about $117,000. Now, think about this. That's good, all right? That's not bad. But what if you did it under a company structure? Okay, now if you're buying properties under a company structure, that same $500,000 gained times the company structure tax rate, which is 30%, you're paying $150,000 of capital gains tax. Because in a company, you cap it out at 30% tax, regardless of whether there's indexation or this and that. You don't get any of these regimes applied to you. Let's say you hold a property for 5 to 10 years, it makes $500,000. The difference between the old regime and the new regime, if done correctly under the right structure, is only just a bit more than $30,000. Okay, you're still making way over $350,000 in post-tax profits. Now, of course, my clients and many of you, we're buying properties to mostly never sell them. They're going to give us our passive income. So now the game is not should I buy or should I not invest in property? The game is actually I probably shouldn't do it under my personal name. I should probably think about doing it in a company structure, because a company structure maxes out your capital gains tax at 30%. And in fact, that's an investment company. If you have a more active company where you're doing regular renovations and it's a real business, it's an active business, the corporate tax rate or the company tax rate is just 25%, which means that the CGT discount matters even less because you're paying even less tax under a company structure. Now, typically my clients have been those that have built large portfolios. They've done it under a company structure or mostly a trust structure. Trusts can still work, okay? Trusts can still work. They still get the benefit of carrying forward negative cash flow losses to future years to offset the tax on positive cash flow when that comes about, okay? Same as personal name, but the capital gains tax is like the personal name under a trust, okay? So you don't get this max 30% like a company would. It would be actually a minimum. The government has said whether you buy in your personal name or a trust, you're going to pay a minimum of 30% capital gains tax. It could be even more. Let's say your property really exceeded the rate of inflation. You could be paying 35%, 40%, 45%. Okay, so that really sucks compared to the old regime where you get the 50% discount. Okay, it's a minimum 30%. But here's the thing, if you do it in a company structure, you're maxing out at 30% capital gains tax or any tax on profits. If you've missed the boat over the last 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years of property investing history in Australia, you've not missed the boat at all. Now the game is let's swap it. Let's maybe not do it under our personal names. Let's do it in a trust or company structure. And I think a lot of people will start to do it in a company structure. Also, the negative gearing, well, that was never there to begin with in a trust or company anyway. And most people that build large portfolios to retire early, they were doing it in trusts and companies anyway. So there's not much big difference, but still you can carry forward the losses and offset future income, which over the long term is completely the same benefit as negative gearing. It's just that you don't get the benefit up front. So these are the two big changes, and hopefully I've articulated that if you do things correctly, the strategy is still the same. It's just now a different structure. Still buy high growth properties under 600K, still buy high yield properties, those that you can add value to. But now the thing is, you have to be very careful with which structure you do it, even as a newbie investor. And of course, for my clients, for my mentorship clients, I'll be explaining this, I'll be giving these strategies, I'll be holding their hand through the entire process. I think this is a very exciting time for those who want to become wealthy, sophisticated investors. I think those people need to get seriously educated, because dabbling is no longer going to work. You have to commit to property investment, even if it's just for 1 or 2 properties. Do it under the right structure. Get education. You can't just find a property online and go for it anymore. And be very careful to get the right accounting, tax advice. And of course, to my clients, I give all of the right team, the conveyancers, the accountants, the property managers, the mortgage brokers. It's so important to have the right team. I see a lot of people using buyer's agents just because they don't have the right team. But if you work with us, we provide you all these people, and they're not all under one shop. There's constructive friction between them. The mortgage broker might say to do this, the accountant might say to do this, and I, as your personal mentor, might help you synthesize to see what is the right option for you. Whereas if you go with different buyers agencies and property investment companies, everyone's working on the same hymn sheet, which is benefiting them, not necessarily benefiting you. You need your professionals to be working together, but also challenging each other to find optimal solutions. Guys, one last thing I want to say is that I will be creating, I will be collaborating, I will be launching, and I will be elevating renovation going forward even more. If you want to have me help you renovate properties, whether it's to flip them, okay, whilst you're working, maybe you want to stop working at some point, you're PAYG, but if you want to help flip properties, or if you want to buy positive cash flow properties, now that negative gearing isn't possible, of course, it's just a timing factor. You can still benefit from negative gearing, as I've illustrated. But if you want to buy positive cash flow properties from day dot, and you want to learn how to renovate, so you can buy something that's yielding 4.5%, get it up to yielding 7%, something that's yielding 5.5%, get it up yielding 8%. So it's positive cash flow from day one. If you want help with renovation, the tools, systems, the numbers, everything packaged to you, then let me know. Comment renovation in the comments below, and I want to bring this service to you as another offering in addition to my property investment accelerator course. Let's stack strategies, guys. Now is the time to really dig our heels and aim for retirement security, financial freedom, financial independence. A lot of people will be moving away from the property market because of all this noise. But for those of you watching, listening, and understanding what I'm telling you right now, you see that the opportunity is ripe under the right structure. And if you can stack strategies, not just the diamond strategy that I already teach, which is value add, off market, high growth, high yield, but if you can stack more structural renovation and flip properties, or get them to become positive cash flow through your sweat equity. And you can do this interstate, you can do it whilst working, it's not a part-time job. Then you can buy multiple properties that are positive cash flow from the first few months that you own them. And this negative gearing thing has no impact on you at all. And then instead of selling those properties, like my clients seldom sell, the capital gains tax won't have any impact on you either, because these become your cash cows for an early retirement. This was meant to be a briefer episode, but I got a bit happy talking, a bit excited talking about all these things. Genuinely, I know that a lot of you will think that I'm trying to put lipstick on a pig. That's a saying that says you're trying to make something look better than it is, but the strategy is the same, the structure is different. Property investing still works for existing investors and new investors. The structure is different. You need to have the right mindset, the right people around you, and more now than ever before, you need to have education, because those who get very, very wealthy, build generational wealth, they don't do that just by outsourcing it to someone and hoping for the best. They learn, truly they learn, the ins and outs, and they pass not only the wealth down to their kids, but also that wisdom, that knowledge, that education. And that's what I want for you guys. My name is PK. Share this. Is very important to share this in your communities, because a lot of noise, a lot of misinformation. Share this, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, hype it. Let's get the more positive impact out there. It's very easy to be angry at the government right now. Our kids don't care how angry we are. Our kids care how much we take care of them. Let's take care of our kids, our family, our loved ones through property investing done strategically with the right structure. My name is PK. Thank you for inviting me into your environment.